What's up YouTube, Ben Bone here and welcome to another vlog. So I was on Facebook, you know Facebook, you know that thing where Facebook reminds you of something you posted years ago, so which is Facebook memories or something. Facebook reminded me of my post I did about my strobe, the first strobe that I ever bought, which was like 7 years ago. So I was like, why don't I just do a video about my strobes and my strobing journey so far, the types of strobe that I've used since I started photography. And by strobing, I mean off-camera flash. Now you all know I love strobing or off-camera flash because I love the drama it gives to my photos. People love natural light. I love natural light, but I always like to introduce some sort of drama to my photography, and that's what off-camera flash does for me. If you love natural light, that's great for you. If you love strobing, that's also great. There's no one is not better than the other. It's about being an artist and choosing what works for you. So the first strobe light I bought was a speed light, and that was the Yong Nuo 560 speed light, the version 2. This was at the time where Strobist, the group Strobist, was at its peak. Like, people were strobing off-camera flash, and so getting the Yong Nuo speed light was a great start for me. I was using it alongside my shoot-through umbrella, which I bought from B&H long time ago. And so I bought 2 of the speed lights, which I actually sold a point and shoot camera of mine to buy these speed lights. And mind you, as at that time, I had only speed lights. I did not have a DSLR. The first gear I ever bought, like the first photography gear I bought, was speed lights before camera. I bought speed lights before camera. That's another story that I'll talk about sometime. And so I bought 2 speed lights, which I was using one as main in my shoot-through umbrella, and then the other one as backlight or rim lights, which was great. I really enjoyed those times. It was all about experimenting with these speed lights. The trigger I was using for these speed lights was also Yong Nuo. It was a Yong Nuo trigger, which was Yong Nuo RS600p, which is to date my favorite trigger. That trigger was just reliable. And mind you, this was way before high-speed sync. This was before there was high-speed sync triggers and high-speed sync strobe lights. And so the speed light and also the trigger couldn't sync above 1/200th of a second. And at that time, I was using my Canon T3i. And these were the times that it was always shooting around f9, f10, f11, like especially when you're on location. The only way to control your ambience was the use of your aperture, because the highest shutter sync was 1/200, and sometimes when you're like a 1/250th of a second. And so after you've reduced your ISO, you've moved your shutter speed to 1/200th of a second, the only choice left was the use of your aperture to control your ambience. As time went on, I managed to buy 2 more extra speed lights, Yong Nuo 560 speed lights. And so I had 4 speed lights, and this was also the time that we used to do 3-edge lighting. So 2 rim lights, 1 main light, and then maybe a spotlight behind the model. Those days were amazing. Like, I really loved those days. I miss those days because those days were more adventurous. Another thing I also did with the speed lights was that from the umbrella I moved to using a beauty dish, which was a bowing mount, and so I had to get a speed light bracket for bowing for the beauty dish. You know, the downside about using these speed lights was the fact that sometimes it was not powerful enough, especially when you're shooting on location. When the sun is so hot, you can't overpower the sun with speed lights. And so what I did was that I actually got an umbrella bracket that could take 2 speed lights. That allowed me to use 2 speed lights. And so I could add 2 speed lights together in an octabox, which gave me more power and allowed me to overshadow or overpower the sun when I'm strobing on location. As I said, this was way before high-speed sync, so you were always shooting at like a closed-up aperture like f10, f11, f9, and so you needed more power all the time to, you know, punch through. So the next strobe that I graduated into was the Jinbei FL II 500, which, as the name suggests, was a 500 watt strobe light. And I loved it so much because it gave me so much power. It gave me like 500 watts of power and enabled me to shoot when the sun was really hot. And not to brag, but I can say that I made that strobe light really popular amongst my photographer friends, because that's one thing about me. Anytime I use a gear and it really works, I always like to make noise about it, post about it, and let people know about it. And so me using that strobe also made people also like go get that strobe, because it was really amazing. Like I loved that strobe so much. It came with a little battery pack. The mount was a Boeing mount, which worked easily with my beauty dish. And so because of that, I was using the beauty dish a lot more. Like by that time, I'd moved from umbrella to octaboxes with Boeing mount, and also using the beauty dish Boeing mount. So it was just easy for me. So the Jinbei FL 500 was great, but as time went on, Jinbei, the company, brought another version of the strobe lights, where now it didn't come with a battery pack, but the battery was in the light. And that light was the Jinbei HD600v, which was a more compact version, because this time it didn't come with a hanging battery pack. It was designed in a way that the battery was in the head. Right at the same time, Godox was also coming up with like battery packed strobes and all of that. I saw one strobe light from Godox, which I love the design and how tough and robust they designed it. Godox RS600p, which obviously was a 600 watt light. But the thing is that light came with a huge battery pack. It wasn't that huge, but it was kind of heavy. So I bought that strobe light and added to my Jinbei HD600. So what I did was that I used the Godox RS600p for like indoors, if I have to shoot indoors, because the battery pack was heavy, so you couldn't carry it around much. And then I'll use the Jinbei HD600v, which was much smaller and lighter on location. And also the fact that the HD600v could do high-speed sync. That was why like I always take it along with me on location. So I was using these two strobe lights, which was amazing. I didn't have any issue with it until the handle of my Jinbei HD600v got broken. Anytime you mount it on a modifier, it would just drop down. And so I had to quickly find another strobe. I still had a Godox RS600p, but that light couldn't do high-speed sync. And so I had to quickly find a strobe light that could do high-speed sync. And that was how I decided to buy the Godox HD600BM, which is what I'm currently using right now. I did an unboxing video when I bought it that time. The main reason why I love using the Godox system is the fact that they've simplified everything. And so if you have one Godox trigger, you could use it along with most of their strobes. The other thing I also love about the current Godox system is the fact that you don't have to use two triggers. You know, usually it's a receiver, a transmitter and a receiver. But with the current Godox system, you can have just one trigger on your camera. You don't have to attach any other thing to the strobe, because it's already designed in the strobe. And so it makes it easier. So you just need that one trigger, and then you can use it with a whole bunch of strobes. And I think I'm going to use Godox for a while. And I love what they are doing with always finding ways to make their strobe lights smaller. So when they designed the AD600, they brought the AD400, and there was already the AD200, and there's currently AD300, always making it smaller and compact. And one thing I like to say is that whether you use strobe lights or like shooting with natural lights, at the end of the day, it's still drawing with light. Photography is drawing with light. So it's a creative decision to decide to go with natural light or strobe light. One is not better than the other. So this has been the strobe and strobing journey for me. Currently using the Godox system, which works great for me. I don't know if things will change in future where I would move to another brand, but so far so good. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.